what do we tackle first? What priorities do we tackle? And then going from there. So what would you say if you had to boil it down to a few of the main things that they changed for us? What were they?
Be the right price. And I think that's just starting at the basic was, do we actually know what our break-even price is? Do we know what we need to be charging for our sold hour? Do we know what we need to be charging for our day rate for install, which is HVAC install, sewer install? Do we know our overhead percents? And using those key benchmarks to cross-compare of, okay, we're not here yet, but there's a plan for this, and this is how we're going to get there. So I think be the right price was probably one of the most impactful. And one thing I didn't know what was happening, I think for me, was growing as a person, like an individual. It was very challenging in a great way of, the discipline. Like one of the things they teach you, right, is some of the psychology and physiology behind a leader and how, like you are responsible. Quit blaming your front line. Quit blaming your customers. You are responsible. And that mindset shift was like pivotal for my personal development and like where I was going as a person. And it made me I'm still growing. I still have a lot of things that I need to work on, but Nexstar was a big part of that.
That was the unexpected thing. I think we're like, okay, we're going to get in here and learn all about how to improve in the trades. And then all of a sudden, half the training is spent on you and yourself and taking ownership and how to coach and how to use language properly and how certain things you say make people feel. Mm-hmm. That was unexpected, and I can't agree more. I think one of the early Nexstar meetings, one of the early super meetings I was at, Jocko Willink was there. Yep. Who's just an awesome guy if you've never read his books. But it was about ultimate ownership. Mm-hmm.
Extreme ownership.
Extreme ownership, yeah. Extreme ownership. Like anything that happens at this organization is my responsibility, and that is a core belief of Nexstar and some of the things that they teach. So totally agree. I think for me it was so much about the financial dynamics of the business. Yep. And we would get an income statement on, if we were lucky, the 20th of the following month. So if January finishes, February 20th, we would get a financial statement that probably wasn't all that accurate. This is pre-Nexstar. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have percentages on it. It would just be numbers, and I would just scroll really quick to the bottom. Actually, I wasn't even scrolling. It was probably just printed out, flip to the bottom, see if we made money or not. And that was the first interaction that I had with the numbers other than the revenue. Yeah. For that previous month. So immediately that began to change. It was when we're talking to our coach weekly at the time, we were talking weekly or bi-weekly to our business coach. It was all about the numbers and we had no answers. It's like, hey, what was your gross margin last week? It's like, we don't even really know how to track gross margin. What percentage overheads?
What is gross margin?
Exactly. Yeah. And we had, our financial statement was jacked up. There was stuff in gross profit and directs that shouldn't have been. There was stuff in overheads that shouldn't have been. It was all over the place. So that was a project. Like over years, they helped us build that and really helped us build to now where we're a data-driven organization. Everything's about the numbers. When you and I make a decision about the company, the first place we look is our data.
Have to.
To make the decision based on the numbers and helping us understand the benchmarks, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's a benchmark for almost every number that you can think of through Nexstar. And I think I want to be clear about how Nexstar determines those things. This isn't just, some people sitting in office saying, your conversion rate should be this, Mm-hmm. It's the 600 something members, what they're seeing, what the highest performing members within Nexstar are performing at, mm-hmm. and business coaches who are from the industry and have been in the industry a long time form those benchmarks. Yep. So a lot of times those benchmarks, we've been at times where it's like, we get upset about the benchmarks because it's like, what do you mean plumbing service 80%? We can't do that. Like that was the old mindset. We can't do that. And business coach is like, well, so-and-so's doing it. So-and-so's doing it. I'll introduce you to them. Can I offer this? Well, have you tried this? Like it really is challenging. And we have kind of set ourselves to where we want to be a company that people are looking at and saying, Jolly's doing it. It is possible. Jolly's doing it. And we're not there on a lot of numbers. Some numbers maybe we are. But I think it's that it's the confidence, right? It's the confidence, knowing where your numbers should be, knowing how your financial statement should be laid out. What numbers should you be tracking? How do you drive those numbers? How do you train your managers to pull levers to drive revenue, ultimately gross profit and net profit? That I just don't know how over the 8 years without Nexstar, I don't know how we would have got there. I don't know
very
another.
hard.
I don't know another way. It would have been extremely challenging.